to Zion. Yeah, we got a lot going on in the world, don't we, folks? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, we do. I wanted to touch base with y'all. Finally got a chance to watch that documentary. I'll speak on that in a little while, talking about Hebrews to Negroes. Yeah, I finally got a chance to watch it in its completion, in its entirety. But what I want to do is let y'all hear something. I wanted y'all to hear something. I wanted y'all to hear something. So, the year was about 2016. And I was still in Vallejo at the time. You know, I only been in the country now about 5.5 months or so. So I'm still in the city and visualizing this time, visualizing this place, visualizing getting out of constructs of the cities of Babylon and moving into the so-called wilderness, which is really, I've done videos on this plenty of times, rural areas that have natural resources or access to natural resources, not deserted and dry places that don't even have water or no place to feed your cattle or anything like that. Okay, we're talking about the wilderness. We're talking about rural areas right now where you can begin to separate your heart and your mind from the Babylonian system, where you can become self-sustainable and that sort of thing, right? So before this, I was living in the city. Okay, I was in Vallejo, but there's this preserve out there. It's about, I don't know how many acres it is, but it's a big preserve. Okay, it's a preserve of natural wildlife out there. But come to think about it, it's pretty deserted too. They did a lot of nuclear testing out there, and so the wildlife that's out there is really just a lot of bird life and then some coyotes. So it's coyote and it's bird life. Okay, and a lot of birds stop at that preserve out there on their trips either north or south to hibernate. Okay, so one day, oh well, before I say one day, I will go out there, maybe time permitting, twice a week or so, and I'd spend hours out there every time. I go out there to marinate. I go out there to collect myself. I go out there to visualize myself in the wilderness, God and my family. I go out there to sing songs of praise, to pray. I go out there to read the scriptures. I go out there pretty much to center myself, gather myself. I go out there to play my oringi flute. I'd go out there to play my harmonica. I go out there to play my jewel harp. I just go out there and enjoy the space for what it was. I would go out there and enjoy the space. Like I said, visualizing a time when my family and I would be out of the city and in the place where we are now. So one day I was out there, and remember I told y'all the Bay Area is called the Bay Area because it's comprised of three bays. Okay, San Francisco Bay, you got Sassoon Bay, and you got the North Bay, which is San Pablo Bay. Okay, now Vallejo is connected to San Pablo Bay. All right, Vallejo's connected to San Pablo Bay. So at the preserve, they have an area where you can walk from the main gate all the way towards San Pablo Bay. And about 100 yards or so out from the bay, they have a bench, park benches, and it has the little, when you go to a state park or a city park or a preserve, it'll have those signs up telling you what's in this area, and then you can look at it, maybe take a picture by it or whatever, and then you walk on to the next location, right? Well, this is how this is set up. So they have the park bench there, a couple benches, and then you can look out into the bay. And across the San Pablo Bay, you see what we call Mount Tamalpais, okay? Mount Tam. And that's basically a huge mountain in the city of Marin, okay, that you can see pretty much from San Francisco to Vallejo. and everywhere in between. You can see Mount Tam up there, and that's Marin City. Okay, so I'm looking toward the west, and I'm looking toward the mountains. I just got done praying. I just got done singing songs of praise. I just got done contemplating years ahead, the future, and what I was called to do as a man of Israel. And as I was out there praying and standing, not sitting, all of a sudden I heard a sound. And the sound was mighty. It was magnificent. And it vibrated through my body. Okay? It wasn't until I got to this land and I opened up my gate right here. See my gate? It wasn't until I opened up this gate that I realized what that sound was actually sounding like. And let me get to it real quick because that sound, when I first heard it, I knew in my heart of hearts that it was the angels. I knew that it was the angels, the sound of the angels blowing the trump. I knew it. I just knew it. I want y'all to hear what this sounds like as I close and open this gate, okay? This is what the sound in the sky, the trumpet in the sky sounded like. Now, when I first heard it, I was just starting to do the rim. You know how you take a glass and you wet the rim of it, and then you take your finger and go like this, and it makes that sound, that soothing, musical, therapeutic sound. And it's like a vibration of the glass, right? Well, I knew it was some sort of vibration. And my whole life as a child, I thought the trumpet would sound like dun, 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 dun. Like I thought it was gonna be like a trumpet like that. Okay. But in reality, it sounds more like a metallic shofar. Okay. And I'm about to play this sound for you right now using this gate right here. All right. I'm about to play it for y'all, but I'm gonna describe it after I'm done playing it. So check this out. This is what it sounded like. Y'all, y'all, YouTube really be putting me through it, y'all. YouTube really be putting me through it. Real talk. Look, as soon as I went like this to show y'all the sound, YouTube gonna cut off the app. The whole app went off. All right, so check this out. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that sound? Hear that? Again. That's what it sounds like in the sky, though. Hear that? Listen. Here it goes again. Y'all heard that? Okay, let me do it again so y'all can hear it. That's what it sounds like, y'all. Only difference is this is coming from my fence, my gate. Wow, I heard that sound, hearing it. Wow. All right, one more time. One more time for y'all. Check it out. That's coming from my gate. Check this out. When the angels do it, the sound that I heard, it was just like that, except it was coming from the sky, y'all. Sky had surround sound. It was coming from up here. It was coming from the sky. But it's like the sky has surround sound. Okay? The sky has surround sound. You hear me? It has surround sound. Yeah, I seen the chariots, I believe, bro. I'm sure you have, family. All right, hold on. Let me do something real quick. Y'all give me one moment, cause I gotta close my gate. Bright blue lights, they look like a bunch of bright dots aligned. Oh yeah, more than likely saw the chariots, family. More than likely saw the chariots too. Yeah. So this is why I brought this up today. It was placed on my heart because the other day when I was opening my gate, I was like, "Hey, this is that sound," and I need to remind the family. Yeah, I was like, "Am I the only one that see this?" You probably was. You probably was the only one that seen it. You looking up. You looking up. Yes, magnificent and a little scary. Prepare, family. Exactly. Smiley. You know they used to call me Smiley. My coaches. One of my coaches in football when I was in high school. They'll call me Smiley. He called me Smiley. That's tight. Yeah. Hold on, y'all. Walking back to the truck now because I want to continue this conversation. But the wind picking up. So I want y'all to be able to hear what I got to say about that. So, y'all have heard it before. I'm not the only one. God a blessing. All praise to the Most High. I'm not the only one who's heard that. This one person said people who covered are going to start getting snatched by the body host entities, whatever you want to call them. Okay. Well, I've heard different narratives on that too, family. I've heard about the rapture. Personally, after studying and after looking carefully at the rapture, I don't think, or the idea of the rapture, oh, it's all good, fam. Let's see. One person said people who covered aren't going to start getting snatched by the body host entities, whatever you want to call them. Got you, OMG. That's what my uncle calls me. May he rest in peace. Smiley, Smiley. Okay, family, yeah. That's a good name. That's a good name. That's a good name. And I'm sure you don't play either. That's a good name. So, so yeah. When as far as the rapture is concerned, we read Jeremiah chapter 30, and we read about Jacob's trouble, and we read about all of the travail of the earth right now. It looks like, and then lining that up, open the veil with Shiva machine. Yeah, yeah, they opened it up with the Hadron Collider. They sure did this past year. Opened it June. What was that date? June 24th. Yeah, it was June 24th, 6/24, 2022, 666. It sure was. If y'all remember, I did a video on it, and it was very interesting. But I know for a fact that they opened up a portal, many portals. The veil has been thinned for sure. And talking about the body snatchers, talking about those entities, those are demonic, those are demons. And those demons were brought through the Large Hadron Collider and other portals that the shadow government has access to. There's a series of portals that were taken from Iraq during the tenure of Saddam Hussein. Okay, so when Saddam Hussein was lynched, publicly, literally, he was killed literally. Demons entities two different? Well, yes and no. Yes and no. Okay. We have angelic entities. We have demonic entities. The word entity, just in this case, is subscribed to a spiritual body or a spiritual energy. Okay. Some sort of energy that might not be seen physically or could be seen physically, but is more so felt as well before it's seen. So we identify those as entities, but angelic or demonic, they're both entities. They both have a presence. In Iraq, during the lynching of Saddam Hussein, there was a special team. I don't think they were SEALs. I think they were recon. They Marine Corps, and they went in and they gathered all of this material, what we would consider alien-like material, from many bunkers that were under the ground in Iraq, underneath Saddam Hussein's palace and the like. And all many of the places where Saddam Hussein's family was living, they were actually living on top of these bunkers. And it was those places that were raided. Okay. And the United States military and government stated that there were weapons of mass destruction during the Hurt Locker era. I know I was going to the Marine Corps. And so there was a lot going on at that time in 2001 to 2002 to 2003 and 2004. Well, the reason for that is not because there was any nuclear warheads. There was never any nuclear warheads found. Okay. That was all a farce. That was a cover up. The real reason they went in is because Saddam Hussein, I don't know if y'all knew this, but Saddam Hussein was on the verge of reigniting and bringing back Babylon. Okay. That was Saddam Hussein's main goal, was to bring Babylon back to life. Okay, the actual state, the actual country of Babylon, because that's where Iraq is actually old Babylon. Okay, so Saddam Hussein's main objective, while he was the president and the leader of Iraq, was to bring back Babylon. And what many folks didn't know in the public space is that Saddam Hussein had access to all of the old Anunnaki technology that was left in that area, and it was underground. It was underground. There's been reports that there are actual giants, a lot of the Nephilim that still exist in that area, in the mountains, okay, of Pakistan and Iraq. There are still Nephilim out there in those huge, huge mountain ridges and all of that. Yeah. So the United States military, along with their allies, went into that place to commandeer technology, okay? But part of that technology was portals, stargates, okay? Stargates. That was part of the tech that was captured, commandeered. So a lot of folks don't know this. And right now, everything that I do, I like to bring the scriptures to it. Part of my objective in life, I think, is I don't think this, but I say I think loosely because, I never know exactly what the exact will of the Most High is at any given time. I just do my best to live in the calling that I'm called in that season of life. And that's why we give all the glory and praise to the Most High, because we don't know how we're actually going to be led many times. Okay. But let me go to the book of Revelation. And I want to go to the book of Revelation, chapter 9, verse 14. I'm going to get to your comment in a second, family. And then I want to go to the book of Revelation, chapter 16. And what do I want? 16, verse 12. Yeah, all praises. Okay. So let me see what you got. Yeah, by the way, they called my grandpa on dad's side Happy Smith. Okay, Happy and Smiley. I got a cousin named Happy. I sure do. And you know what, family? I just realized your last name too. My grandfather, my great grandfather, one of my great grandfathers, Samuel Smith. Okay, Samuel Smith. That's one of my great grandfathers, Samuel Smith, out there from Alabama, Samuel Smith. Okay, so that's on my mama's side. That's why I'm not a Smith. Okay, that's why I'm not a Smith. That's one of the reasons I'm not a Smith. He had quite a few daughters. Okay, he had quite a few daughters. So my grandmother, she was a Smith. She married my grandfather, my mom's dad. She was a Smith. So I always look at the Smiths with a family eye. You know, it's always family love. Okay. But what's going on right now is the trumpets have been sounding. The trumpets have been sounding for quite some time, is my point. And the world, okay, my grandpa from West Indies. Oh, that's a blessing. That's a blessing. That's a blessing. That truly is a blessing. Right now, and RIP to your grandfather too. Rest in power. One of the things that is really getting me about this experience that I've heard, and now many others have heard, is that it's real. And a lot of us had a difficult time describing it. I had a difficult time describing it even as a musician, because my whole life I've been looking at this trumpet sounding as a, like I said, a like that's what I thought it was gonna be. You know, when you see all those depictions of the little white angels and all of that, you see them with these little brass trumpets, and you like, oh, is that what they gonna look like? Nah, 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 nah. These are so-called black people. These angels, they look like you and I, and they up there blowing the shofar. The trumpet. The trumpet is a shofar. It ain't got nothing to do with no. And so when we thinking like that alone could throw us off. And thank y'all for the thumbs up so far. I really appreciate y'all. That could throw us off. It wasn't until I got to the land and I opened up that gate for the first time and I heard it myself. And I was like, whoa, that's what it sounds like in the sky. So this is what I think based off of my experience. Oh, you said you did hear a trumpet? Okay. Was it in the sky? Was it in the sky? Did it sound like the sky has surround sound speakers? That's what happened with me. I was out there at the preserve and I was giving praise. My hands was to the sky. And all of a sudden I heard the sound similar to what I played for you on my gate. The only difference is it was coming from all around me. Yes, I heard the big deep groan. I heard the loud. I heard the higher. Okay, I heard the deep groan. I heard the more high pitched screech aspect of it. I feel like I heard the whole spectrum of it. A groan sound under the earth. No, I haven't personally heard a groan sound under the earth. I haven't heard that. But as far as the low end, more bass like part of the trumpet, I've heard the whole spectrum of the trumpet sound. And the thing about it is, it's a sound you never forget. I'll never forget it because it was coming from the sky. Okay, it was reverberating through the sky. Now, at the same time, I have been studying the firmament. I have been well aware of the firmament now for many, many years. The whole shape of the earth, the flat earth, and the firmament dome on over top of us. And I'm going to bring out a study soon regards to the firmament that I think will really, really help folks understand the shape of this earth and why it's so important. Here's a little tip. The scriptures tell us that all of us will see the return of the king at the same time. When I was a little boy, I used to wonder how are we all going to see the return of the king at the same time if the world is a globe, if it's a sphere. And I just thought, well, shoot, he must be really, really big. We must all finna be seeing him, and he must be that big, right? And then as I continue to progress and read the scriptures, I realized things like we're going to watch the earth be burned on top of the sea of glass. My brother, my brother. the sea of glass, brother. That's the firmament. All praises. See, you want it. You want it. You want it. The sea of glass is the firmament. And all the elect will be standing on top of the firmament, watching the top of this earth be destroyed. Can you hear me now? Can y'all hear me now? That sea of glass is the firmament. All praises. In and out, of course. Going in and out. Of course. Going in and out because we talking this truth. We talking this truth, so it's going in and out. I apologize for that, family. I really do. I apologize for that. When I heard that trumpet sound, and I heard it for the first time, it vibrated through me. And I felt like I was the only one who was listening to this. I could look off to the north and I could see on Highway 37, I could see it. All the cars and vehicles and rush hour traffic. Nobody was tripping off of it. Nobody was paying it no mind. Everybody was in their vehicles, whether they were listening to music or whatever it was, focusing on the road. But I was standing outside. I was outside. And I heard that trump sound. And I'll never forget it. And I knew that the time was short before the return of the king. But at that same time, I've been studying flat earth, the shape of the earth. The earth is on the four pillars. The earth is on pillars. It's called the footstool of the Most High. And when I began to make sense of the shape of the earth, that is when I realized, okay, the earth is a canvas and it's covered by a dome. It's like a terrarium. You know, when you have a reptile or something like that, a small animal that you keep in a terrarium. Yes, it's a dome over the flat land. And that dome, remember at Granny's house? Remember at your grandmama's house? When you walk into the dining room, she got that pound cake, that German chocolate cake sitting in the center of the table, and it's covered with that glass lid. And you looking at that cake, you drooling because that cake looks so good. And she like, baby, you better not touch that cake. Wait till after your supper, right? And you just looking at that cake. Granny, please, can I have a piece of cake? Well, that's what we looking like. That dome is over top of us. Okay? And one of the things that I realized when I first heard the trump, I began to think about prophecy being fulfilled. They're cutting the volume. All right, 1 second, family. They cutting the volume. All right, give me one moment, please. I apologize for that. Let me reset my ear pods. Can y'all hear me now? Can y'all hear me if I go off the phone, microphone? Let me know if y'all can hear me, because I'm about to say something I feel is important. Let me know if y'all can hear me okay. Can y'all hear me okay? Volume in the feed. It is, but when I realized there was great prophecy being fulfilled right now. Things going on in the earth that weren't being reported. In California, for instance, let me tell y'all something. Okay. Yeah. Let's do it. Thank you. Thank you for letting without the AirPods. Okay. Well, look.
In California at that time, I remember part of the prophecy. A third of the sea, what's in the sea, would die. Okay, a third of what was in the sea would die. And I thought about that. I thought about it a lot because what was happening in California. Let me read it for you real quick. Let me read it for you real quick. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast unto the earth, and they were cast upon the earth, and the third part of trees was burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up. Thinking about all of the wildfires that have been taking place, just think about all the wildfires. In California, there was actually some footage of some entities blasting is low. I wanna know if y'all can hear me, because it's very important. It's very important that y'all get this message. Volume low. Jeez.
Now, to hear me. Angel sound. And we have in and out, in and out, in and out. What about now? It's getting dark. I want to be able to tell y'all what I got to tell y'all. Look, they done already cut the live stream off and just totally zapped the app. They totally just turned it all off on me. I want to make sure that y'all can hear me, and I thank y'all for rocking with me. That's why I always say thank you, because there's other channels right now that don't really have these technical difficulties and these issues. Okay, but they might not necessarily be talking about what I'm seeking to bring out. So listen, that first angel sounded in the grass and trees. A third of the grass and trees was burnt up. That's Revelation chapter 8, verse 7, right? And then, me being from California, that's one of the first things that I saw. All of the wild forest. Consistent sound with one AirPod. Okay. All of the forest burning up. Y'all heard about the California wildfires and everything? Oregon and Colorado and all these places where fires was just raging, right? If you look on, even on the United States, that's like a third of the U.S., right? That doesn't count all the other places on Earth where the fire was going and the droughts were starting to pick up. So that brush fires and all this sort of thing. All right, we just gonna keep on going. Try to do your best to hear what I'm saying, and I apologize for that. We gonna fix it one of these days. I'm so sorry for that. But that was the first, right? And then we start talking about a third of the sea became blood. Now, how does a third of a sea become blood? Well, when you think about Fukushima, for instance, out there in Japan with the nuclear runoff, the thermonuclear waste that was released into the oceans, right? In California, the Pacific Ocean, all of us who know from California, we don't really even eat seafood no more. We don't even eat seafood no more. Not the smart ones of us, because all of the seafood that comes from the Pacific Ocean has been tainted with nuclear runoff. Let me tell y'all something. Starting in 2016, around the same year that I heard that first trumpet, the first time I heard the trumpets for myself live, all of the sea life began to die. Animals that you wouldn't believe was being washed up and beaching themselves on the surface. Sea lions was beaching themselves. I'm like, how do sea lions beach themselves? Well, the thing with the sea lions is they were dying in the ocean and then being washed up. Listen to this, y'all. There were octopus washing up. Big, humongous octopus starting in 2016 on the coastline of California. I don't know if y'all heard this. Let me tell y'all something. Not only was octopus washing up, but there were dolphins, bottlenose dolphins washing up, beaching themselves. Also, there were killer whales, y'all. Orca, Free Willy, wild orca was beaching themselves. Whole pods of orca was dying on the coastlines of California. Y'all could Google it. What else was washing up? When this animal started washing up that I'm about to tell y'all, that's when I knew a third of the sea had truly been killed. And the animal that was washing up, nobody really expected to wash up, and it was washing and beaching itself in high numbers, was the sperm whale. Sperm whale was beaching up. Now, if y'all know anything about sperm whales are the whales that dive the deepest. That's why we don't see them on the surface often. They dive so deep into the ocean that they avoid a lot of stuff. Sperm whales themselves was beaching up onto the beaches of the California coastline. And that's when I realized the angels' trumpets have been sounded. But it don't stop there. It does not stop there. When we go to Revelation chapter 9, verse 16, or excuse me, verse 14, we read, saying to the sixth, actually, let's go to verse 13. And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before God, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. Now, in order for the angels who are bound, the four angels who are bound in the great river Euphrates to be released, something else had to happen first. Okay? What had to happen first? The Euphrates River had to dry up. Now you have to realize something. The Euphrates River is very wide. It's almost 2 miles wide, just like the Mississippi River. The Mississippi River is listed in the top what? The top 5 or 6 rivers on the earth. Okay? It's a huge river, Mississippi River. And the Euphrates River is huge, just like the Mississippi. Now, let me go to Revelation chapter 16 real quick. Revelation 16, verse, what do I want? Verse 12. Revelation 16, verse 12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Now, why is that important? We just read in Revelation 9 that the sixth angel, which had the trumpet, loosed the four angels, which are bound in the great river Euphrates. So that's the same angel. The sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. But the water was also dried up, so that the four angels who were bound under the great river Euphrates could be released. Now, why is it so significant that when we hear these trumpets, all of these prophecies will be fulfilled? Well, let's read on in Revelation 9, verse 15. And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, to slay the third part of men. And to slay the third part of men. Right now, more than ever, I think all of the death that we're seeing, all of the killings that we're seeing, the spirit that's over the land right now, of many people dropping, the mass killings, the mass shootings, um, just the increase in all sorts of people exiting this world right now. It has to deal with the third part of man being taken out, being dispatched, and it's all spiritual. It's all spiritual. It was all prophesied to happen. Like Brother Smiley Smith said, yeah, it can be kind of scary. It can be kind of trippy. Okay. Oh, now that was Brother Ordained for Greatness. Excuse me. It's a trip to be able to even look down. All right, better. It's a trip to even be on, to even be considered that elect. Okay? To even be considered the elect, being carried up by the chariots to the sea of glass, to the top of the firmament. To the top. Imagine standing on the firmament. Finally, a human will be able to be on the other side of the firmament. I think the first human that actually made it to the other side of the firmament was Enoch. Enoch was the first human to make it on the other side of the firmament. All praise to the Most High. Yes, indeed, Queen Carly. Thank you for joining us. Enoch was the first human, and I think only human, that made it to the other side of the firmament and back before he was transfigured up. Now, the thing about this is, like I keep saying, is that many of us, one of my prerogatives is to bring the scriptures to life from my own walk. I think that's very important because we're called to be lights out here. And each one of us, Hebrew Israelite people, have an opportunity to be a way shower. Okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing is whether I was involved with bringing the scriptures to life or not, the scriptures was already being brought to life, with or without me. I just had to answer the call. Okay? Just like you have to answer the call. But this is the other thing. When we bring the script, when the scriptures are brought to life through us, the rest of the world can begin to see how real the Most High is day to day. And when we see how real the Most High is day to day, then we can begin to put one and two together. We can begin to connect the dots. And connecting the dots is vital today because there's so much prophecy that's being fulfilled right before our faces. Now, why isn't the news, I'm going to ask a rhetorical question, why isn't the news in the media talking about the angels and the sounding of the trumpets? Now, I've seen different YouTube videos that highlighted certain news stations documenting the sound, of course, but they always play around with it. It's never serious. It's never a serious narrative. It's never something that needs to be truly considered. They always act like they don't know what it is. But when we read the scriptures and we tie that sound of the trumpet, oh, Sister Smiley Smith, oh my goodness. Sister Smiley Smith. Oh, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank you for so humbly correcting me. I'm so sorry. I won't make that mistake again. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So, this is the thing. We can finally connect the dots. And we can look at what's happening before us as well as what's taking place in scriptures and line it up. We should be charged up as Hebrew Israelite people. We should be ready to deliver this word of truth without doubt. Okay? Without doubt. I'm not saying you won't be nervous getting in front of folks. I'm not saying you won't feel a little anxiousness. I'm not saying that you won't feel some kind of way delivering the truth. But it should make sense to you. And one thing that I noticed with these trumpets sounding, back in 2016, I was looking in Northeast Africa. And I was looking at how the Euphrates was being said to, there were certain parts of the river that was turning red. And scientists want to say that there's a bacteria in the rivers that's causing the oxidation process to take place in the rivers where it begins to look rust colored red. And I was just shaking my head. I was just shaking my head because I knew that this was prophecy being fulfilled with the rivers and the waters being turned to blood. A third of the waters being turned and converted. Now, it looks like blood, but it might not quite be blood. It so do look like it. It's crimson like that, right? During the same time in 2016, reports were coming in that the Euphrates was going to dry up soon and that the water level was dropping. Well, let me tell y'all something. In 2022, as of recent, the Euphrates River has completely dried up. And if not completely, the mass majority of the river has dried up. Well, this is also something that's trippy. The Mississippi River, the Great Mississippi, is also drying up. Many branches of the Mississippi River now have dried up, completely dried up, y'all. Thank you. Where people can walk across the Mississippi now. People are able to walk across the Euphrates, and there's a couple videos out of people who have done so, and allegedly, they were able to go and record a particular place on the Euphrates where there were these great sounds coming from under the ground, and they sound supernatural. And it's alleged that these are the angels who were bound under the Euphrates and who are now being let go. I don't know when the films that I'm talking about were published, but I've seen them and I've heard them myself. And they sound very eerie. Okay, very eerie. So, for me personally to have heard the sound, I have to be a watchman. For the Most High, I have to cry loud and spare not. That spare not means that I'm not supposed to have any regard for your feelings. I'm not supposed to have any regard for how you might receive the truth, as long as I deliver the truth unequivocally. It's my job to do the due diligence to make sense of what's before us, just like it's your job. And it's your job to do the due diligence on what you hear so that you can connect the dots for yourself and don't just be led any old way. This is part of our job. And so if we're focused on all of the what's the big D word, the distractions, we're not paying attention to the signs. I have to listen later. Visiting mother in long-term care. Be blessed. Okay, be blessed, Sister Smiley. And blessings to your mama for sure. Make sure you give her a hug and speak life to her. Make sure you speak life to her. Let her know you love her. Okay? And blessings to her. But as long as we do the due diligence that it takes to connect the dots, we will be on the track to see the reality of the prophecy in the scriptures of the Most High in real time. So this is why all the distractions are taking place right now, because if the news was to report that the angels was sounding the trumpet, for instance, if the news was to report that the Euphrates River is drying up in conjunction with the angels sounding the trumpet, how many folks do you think would be actually going to NBA games and football games right now? Would Tom Brady and Giselle be the topic of discussion right now? Would Kanye be the topic of discussion right now as far as all of his economic strongholds being taken from him? Or would the only aspect of Kanye's discussion that would be part and parcel with the prophecy being that, oh, the children of Israel are waking up? I think that that would be the only one that we would be focused on as part of what he was saying in his narrative so far. We wouldn't be tripping off the Adidas. We wouldn't be tripping off the Yeezys. We wouldn't be tripping off the White Lives Matter. The only statement that would have relevance to what we're going through right now is that the so-called African American people are the true Israelites. That all of those people spread to the four corners of the world through the transatlantic, trans-Arabian slave trade are the true Israelite people. So go ahead and read Revelation chapter 16, verse 12. Okay. One of the things that I realized also, if you look right now, what's happening with Taiwan and China? Anybody know? Before we conclude this live stream, Taiwan and China, what I could tell, North Korea, South Korea, many Asian countries right now are preparing for war. Now, when we talk about the kings of the East, there's only a
a couple armies that can produce the numbers that it would take to fulfill that prophecy of 200 million men, 200 million soldiers marching across the Euphrates. And if I'm correct, okay, thank you. If I'm correct, Sister Smiley, if I'm correct, that's China and Iran. It isn't China and Iran in cahoots. Aren't they allies? Last time I checked, they were allies. They're the only two nations that I could think of that have enough manpower to reach the 200 million mark in order to cross the Euphrates into battle. So what we're seeing right now, even with China and Taiwan, is this great conflict brewing. And whether we want to believe it or not, World War III is imminent. World War III is imminent. Thermonuclear warfare is imminent. It is. And one of the things that I do my best to do is to not be a fear monger. Okay? The only real way I know how to not be a fear monger is to reconfirm for everybody watching that there's hope. For the children of Israel, you must repent. We must repent. We must acknowledge our sins and transgressions. We truly must do that. If we don't do that, then we're in trouble. And that's why 2/3 of our people will not make it, unfortunately. 2/3 of our people are not going to make it because 2/3 of our people want to remain in ignorance. And it's sad. It truly is. But instead of harping so much on future turmoil and future warfare and future death and destruction, I think it's just as wise as to speak on repentance. And it's wise to cry aloud to show Israel who we are and to wake us up to the best of our abilities before war is at our door, before this app and all the internet and everything shuts down permanently. And all we had been talking about was war. See, war is one of those things that once it takes place, just like these prophecies are being fulfilled, we could talk about prophecy all day. But once it happens, and once it's in front of you, and once you see it for yourself, whether you believed it last week or not, once it takes place this week or next week or in a year, and it's made real for you, that's when you see the reality of what we have been saying this whole time. And if you try to access YouTube or our websites or any sort of online Bible platform, for instance, and the internet is shut down, or you're not able to access the apps because there's no more Wi-Fi, and you're trying to clamor back to those brothers who was teaching the truth, to those sisters who was spreading the truth, well, guess what? If you hadn't been taking notes now and haven't been writing all these scriptures down on a notepad, if you don't have photographic memory, then you're going to be left out, and you're going to be clamoring for the truth in a pressurized moment. You're going to be clamoring for the truth when the world is truly in haywire mode. And so, what you got to really do is focus right now and use all of your tools and resources to prove what we're saying. Okay? You don't have to take my word for it, but prove what it is that's being said for your own sake, for your family's sake, so that you're not running around here crazy believing every old Tom, Dick, and Harry when your back is against the wall. Take this time right now to really do your due diligence and search out the missing parts of news that you might not have heard, like I was telling you about the sea life washing up. Okay, that is it's preposterous to think that sperm whales, killer whales, orca, bottlenose dolphins, sea lions are eating the fish, and the fish is tainted. The sea lions are getting sick, and they're washing up in large numbers on the coastlines of California. Okay, this is real talk. This is real talk. The crab industry, the crabbing industry out there has shrunk by a lot.
in California because the crabs are dying. Now, I don't eat crab. Crab is an unclean animal, but I pay attention to the industry because it has everything to do with prophecy. The Euphrates River has dried up. The Mississippi has dried up. These rivers and oceans are drying up. Well, the oceans are rising and they're being filled with fresh water from the ice caps, okay, because the world is heating up. In the water, the wildlife that's in the oceans right now is having a difficult time surviving. Also, because the oceans are turning more fresh water. These aren't freshwater animals; they're salt water. So the water is being diluted in this case with fresh water, and the salt levels are dropping. This is happening right now. California, Oregon, Washington, Colorado, all of these places, Utah, they're having wildfires left and right, fire after fire. The trumpets have sounded, y'all. This is just for real talk. And this is why all of the distractions are in front of us. How many of us would be scared out of our socks if we knew that the Bible, the scriptures, was true? So many of us. There would, I think to the non-scripture believers who saw the connected dots, they would just be like, oh no, think about all the people who have been living as atheists, for instance, and feel like they don't have any opportunities to repent. Think of all the people on the earth right now who feel like they're so deep in a hole spiritually that there's no way they can be brought out. Think about all the people who have given their lives over to Satanism. Okay? Think about all the people who believed a lie. And now all of a sudden, like literally today, literally right now, prophecies are being fulfilled in our face. The scriptures tell us that Israel, the true Israelites, would remember who they were in the places of their captivity. Look at what's happening right now. Look at what's going on. So, yeah, it's getting dark right now outside. That's why I don't be liking that hour back stuff. I'm gonna start getting out here sooner to take advantage of the light. I don't necessarily like when y'all have to watch the screen when I'm talking and you can't see me no more. But the point is, are you getting the message? I hope you're getting the message because that's what's the most valuable. The message. You being able to take the message and make sense of it for yourself. Now, with all these prophecies being fulfilled, Israelites waking up in the places of our captivity to who we truly are, the angels sounding. If you want to hear what the sound sounds like, I replicated it with my gate earlier in this live stream. All you have to do is go back to the beginning of the live stream and you'll hear it for yourself. Now that sound took place in my life from the sky. I'm just replicating the sound here. And yes, for any naysayers, after I replicated it, yeah, it could be easy for someone to take it and say that came from the sky. But hey, your brother True Jew not here to be lying to y'all. So my experience was real. My experience was true. It came from the sky as if the sky had as if there were speakers in the clouds, like the sky had surround sound. And it almost felt like because no one else responded to it, it felt like it was just for me to hear. I don't want to come across as sounding selfish, but I was the only one who heard it. It seemed like because nobody spoke about it in my city, or at least I didn't see any articles on it. I didn't see it come up in any forums. And so maybe people just thought they might have been going crazy. Even with the chariots. I remember in 2021, March of 2021, all over the nation, there were hundreds of chariots spotted flying through the sky in different regions. So they used Elon Musk to get on the news and say that those were his SpaceX satellites taking their turn, going around the sky. So to everybody who believed that at the time, I said if these are satellites, then they're going in a circumference. So that means they'll come back. They're circumnavigating. So that means they should come back at the same time tomorrow night. They never came back, y'all. Now I had been seeing chariots years and years. I've been seeing the chariots since 2008. years before 2021, so I knew they were chariots. But that was the first time many people did not. That's the first time many people saw them for themselves. Oh, it was grand. The chariots are positioning themselves all over the world right now in anticipation of the great and terrible day of the Most High. So you have to choose what you want to focus on. You have to choose what you want to apply yourself to. And for me personally, I don't get overwhelmed with this too much because there's still work to be done. There's still so many people who need to be awakened that instead of me focusing on myself being awake and just worrying about my family and just doing whatever we can do to prepare for that day, I said, let me use my time as wisely as possible and help wake up my brothers and sisters who don't know, who are still on the fence. Let me use my skills. I saw the chariots in April 2012. All praises. See, the reason you saw them, and I want to know how you felt. How did you feel when you saw them for the first time? Did your heart skip a beat? Were you curious? Did you believe the conjecture that they were, oh, these might be UFOs, or those are some kind of Chinese lantern balloon? Or were you confirmed in your heart that they were the chariots and your heart had a sense of gladness? Or were you unmoved at all and you just saw them and just was able to be in the moment and just look at them like, what is that? Well, for me personally, the first time I saw the chariot, I was like, what is that? But my heart didn't skip a beat. My heart didn't skip a beat until the second, third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth times when I saw them in a multiple setting, meaning I could see one chariot flying south to north, and then it'll phase out, and then immediately I'll see another chariot flying north to south, and then east to west, and all of these chariots will be flying in the sky at the same time from different latitudes and longitudes. That's when my heart started to skip a beat because I realized that those weren't UFOs. Those were the chariots. Those were the angels, the angelic presence on earth. And they were telling me, Most High was telling me, hey, son, you're going to have to keep on seeing these until you're comfortable with their presence because I'm going to need you to speak on them. And I'm going to need you to speak on them confidently and boldly. And you have to know what this means. What this means is that if you see these chariots in the sky, then the angels are real. Oh, please share that. If you get an opportunity, please share that video. Please share that video. I'm actually working on a series of videos as well to share. Okay. But please share that video if you can. If you feel comfortable to do it, please share it. I had to get comfortable, and I'm thankful. You said you thought it was amazing, and they were something supernatural or special. They are supernatural and special. And this is the thing. The connotation behind that is if you can see the chariots and the angels, then that means the Most High is real. If the Most High is real, and these chariots are getting in position all over the world, then that means that the return of the Most High is imminent. And if the return of the Most High is imminent, that means that the word is true. It says that this construct, how we see the world now, how we see society now, is going to be destroyed and replaced with a new kingdom. And for a lot of people who still have their hands tied to this kingdom, who still have their hearts tied to this kingdom, who still have pursuits in this kingdom, that could be very scary. That could be very daunting. And that's why we're asked to flee Babylon. We need to release our minds and our heartstrings to this place. Just let it go. I could email it. Never thought about posting it. Yes, please. The Real True Jew. The Real True Jew at gmail.com. Please, Queen Sister. The Real True Jew at gmail.com. I'll put it in the description again for you. But yes, whenever you get a chance, please send that video. Real talk. And leave instructions for me. I won't post your video. I won't post it. I won't post it. I won't post it. You gonna have to post it because it's your content. You know what I mean? But you go ahead on and post it if you don't want to, please email it to me. I understand the seriousness of that type of content. Okay, I really do. So it's one of those things, y'all, where if we could connect these dots and see how real everything is, then we can realize just how real everything is. Okay? And we have to move a certain way out here because of the reality of what's going on spiritually. We really, really do. So I thank y'all for joining me today. Thank y'all for helping this video get pushed through the algorithms. Thank y'all for sitting through the technical difficulties with me and us ironing those things out. Thank you for your participation. All praises to the Most High for y'all's presence today. Everybody, shout out Queen Sister. Who we got in the building? Who we got in the building? Queen Sister Chalet V. We got Queen Sister Shirley Smith. We got Queen Sister Carly. We got Brother King ordained for greatness. So I thank y'all, and whoever else is watching, I thank y'all for joining in today. Brother ordained for greatness, stay on it, bruh. Stay on it, bruh. Stay plugging away at them scriptures, brother. Stay plugging away. You've been blessed to see some great things. You've been blessed to see some great things. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Queen Sister Carly. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing that one. Because I know it's awesome. And you're welcome. You're welcome. All praises to the Most High. Yes, I'm doing my absolute best. I'm doing my absolute best in this day. I'm doing my absolute best in this time. And I know we all are putting our best foot forward to the best of our abilities. And, we're going to have to turn it up a notch. We're going to have to turn it up a notch. I'm thinking about doing some things soon to turn it up a notch. You know, like I say, we use our gifts and our talents to connect. We use our gifts and our talents to push forward. Luke chapter 19. The servants was given a pound apiece. And when the master left into that great city where he was going to inherit that kingdom, he expected those servants to do something with those talents, with those pounds. He came back. The best of the servants took that 1 pound and made it into 10 pounds. While the worst of the servants, the least active of the servants, just sat on the pound and didn't even put it in the bank, didn't collect interest on it, nothing, just sat on the pound. Okay? I don't want to be like that servant that sat on the pound. I want to take my pound and I want to turn it into 10, 20, 30, 40 fold. I want to be able to do something mighty with that pound so that I have something to show the king upon his return. Okay? And that's a parable, of course. And that parable is us taking our gifts and our talents, everything we were given. And are we just going to sit on it? Are we going to sit on the truth? Or are we going to diligently spread the truth to the best of our ability? And that's all I'm doing. That's all other brothers are doing. That's what other sisters are doing. And I know this ain't necessarily everybody's cup of tea because everybody ain't in the same emotional state. Everybody isn't in the same spiritual state to deal with these things in truth. But hey, I like to think that I deliver these things in love. I deliver these things in light. The same things I talk to y'all about, I talk to my children about, okay? So just keep that in mind. If the babies can hear this message and the babies can contemplate this, I know the one thing though is that I'm here to comfort the babies, okay? I talk to them. I get on their level, and I'm here to hug them and talk with them and comfort them. In my presence as their papa, it re-solidifies the strength that they need, and I get that. I truly do. I get that. But as adults, we have to figure out a way to lean on the Most High, our heavenly, our divine Father, and we have to look for the comfort of the Ruach Hakodesh. Okay, we have to look forward to the comfort that we get from on high. You know, I'm learning this truth. My mom and my daddy ain't around me to be hugging and, please tuck me in at night. No, no, no. That ain't happening. So where do I get my strength from? Where do I get my courage from? Where do I get my bravery from? It comes from on high. Okay, it comes from the Most High. And so the same way I've been blessed with my bravery and courage to talk about these things is the same way, family, that when you hear these things, You have to bravely hear them, and you have to bravely seek out the truth about them and connect the dots for yourself and see the truth for what it is. And prophecy is being fulfilled all around us right now. Prophecy is being fulfilled all around us right now. So look, I love y'all to life. That's my time for the evening. I'll be tapping in with y'all most high mom and Papa willing soon. But you know me. Stay blessed, stay vigilant. And until next time, you know I love you to life always. Gone.